When I was growing up, we had a party line, so everybody on our block actually shared the same phone line. So I was born in '69, so this is when I was just a little kid. But I remember the arguments and people screaming at each other. And then finally, we got our own committed phone line growing up, and that was even better. But when I got a little bit older, kind of in my teens, wanted to make a phone call to my dad when he got home. Some days he would say, "I'm expecting a call." Nobody used the phone. There was no call waiting, nothing like that, so we couldn't be on the phone. The phone um, had to be completely open for him to actually call in. And then we didn't have an answer machine because those hadn't been created yet. But then finally we got one. It was a little regular full size cassette tape one, and then it went to a micro cassette one, and then there was actually some kind of storage in the system itself, so you didn't even need a cassette tape. But really dating ourselves. But I remember most people, because that was the technology at the time, had the patience to wait for the message, wait for the phone call. They didn't have to answer the phone immediately or call people back. Well, the world's changed a lot. People need that instantaneous gratification. And I'm sure you know this and have realized it. In my businesses, I see the same thing. If there's not somebody there to pick up the phone, if they don't get service immediately, depending on the type of business, of course, but they'll move on. They'll move on to somebody else. If it's real estate, they'll move on to another real estate agent. If it's lending, they're going to move on to another lender. If it's a medical professional, maybe they'll call another doctor. If it's a lawyer, maybe they'll call another attorney. There's just lots of differences. Contractors, plumbers, electricians, all of those people, carpet people, all of them face the same problem. So you have a secretary throughout the day, great. I have a system that I put together, hireaivoice.com. I've been working on it for a long time. Finally, I got it just right, and I'm ready to release it. I want you to engage with me. In the bottom right-hand corner on all these slides, you will see a phone number. Call the phone number. It's my AI voice demo. Now, understand it's going to ask you information about your business, the business that you would like to potentially adopt a voice AI system for. But I'm going to give you a few of the reasons why you might want to really consider this. Plus, I have a police background. Whenever I was putting it together, when I was designing the system itself, it's always in the mind, I don't want to get screwed or taken. My name's on this, so I'm not going to put myself at risk either. I fall back on who I am, Connor with honor, Connor McIver. So when I offer things, they have to be right. And they have to be something that I use and would recommend to friends and family because, I mean, that's how it should be, not going out there and selling a whole bunch of BS that people don't need. So having said that, being right core, right granular with how I feel about that, showing you a little bit of my code, let's get into this. Now, one of the things with any of the artificial intelligence systems out there, you might think that you've dealt with one. You might think that you've actually called one and dealt with it, but maybe it wasn't fluid, maybe it wasn't smooth. More than likely, that wasn't AI. That was just a tested, prompted voice system that's basically just going to ask particular questions and then record or transcribe responses. This is actually an interactive artificial intelligence voice system. You can call the phone number on the screen, like I said, see the demo. When you do, it doesn't know everything about your business, but if you tell it you have a flower shop or you tell it you have something of the same nature, maybe you're a real estate agent, maybe you're a lender, and if the caller, you, as you're testing out the system, asks questions that pertain to real estate, pertain to your business, go ahead and test it. See what it says. Pretty remarkable. And it hasn't even been trained for you or your business or with the guardrails and safeties in place that are going to allow your particular AI agent to answer the caller in a perfect way each and every time. Then the most important part is the caller always gets answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. In addition to that, the system, then I put together both an iPhone app or an Android app that you'll be able to download so you can get access to your internal system to see who called, what the message was, and what the response was from the AI, and how you can best contact them. And then I also put together an online system so you have a secretary, you have your staff, you have a buyer's agent, an assistant, whomever, they're able to get into the system as well. And I can give them their own account so you can be basically the overall organizer, the owner of the business. And then, of course, they have a sub account under you. You can see what they did, how they responded, did they follow up with that particular lead, so on and so forth. So the system is really complete at the entry level price. Now let's move into, once we get through the slides, you're going to see a shopping cart. These are additional systems, AI systems that I put together. So I thought I'd talk about them here, but if you haven't called that phone number yet, give it a shot. 661-219-7299. You'll see the voice agent. There are many different phone voices that I put in there. I have 50 now. I have both male and female voices. I have different accents as well. These are the ones that we'll cover when we do an onboarding session, talking about your business, the best things regarding artificial intelligence to implement in there. But you will see that I do have quite a robust cadre of folks that we can call on to be your AI voice. And we'll choose them and walk through and see which one would be best fitting for what you do. If you have either a contractor service, maybe you need that deeper voice. If you're a doctor's office, maybe you need something a little bit more caring and compassionate. So there are different personalities as well. But when we put it together, you'll see it'll start making a lot of sense. And then from there, whoever calls, no matter what time, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't have any way of getting those calls. Even if you are busy during the day, employees go to lunch, or maybe you don't work on weekends, or you don't have any active people answering your phone. Well, that's all going to change, because during weekends, holidays, after hours, you're going to have a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 days a year AI voice assistant that's going to be picking up the information. A few other things, we're going to go through the slides. It's going to kick off some of my brain, and I'll remember some of the certain other things that are really highlights about the system. But really what it does take care of those people that call in. Leads are worth a lot of money. If their current clients are worth a lot of money, very valuable, right? In fact, some might say they're priceless, because an individual can hurt your reputation if you're not there to pick up, or if you don't have somebody's leaving a message. It's a lot less friendly than if they're actually interacting. And we're not talking, it's the system doesn't hide itself and act like a real person, but the interaction is quite excellent. The way that I finally got it dialed in, it's really, really good. And as time goes on, you will also continue to get any updates and any upgrades I do to the system, which I'm watching all the time. I'm constantly making it better. And you'll also have your own back end, so you can see your own client management system, and you'll be able to see anybody that's called in and what happened to them. If you're servicing them yourself, calling them, scheduling appointments, it does schedule appointments. It does have access to a calendar that we'll create for you. And also it's able to send web forms, websites, other information as well, if that's what we want it to do, or you want it to do for your business. Let's just start the slide process here and get through a few of these just to kind of get an idea on how the system works. Now, it is important to remember that as I started with this phone call, my dad needed to make a phone call. He was patiently waiting for the phone call. People have changed. When we got the answering machine, then we started to get a lot more people calling. At least we knew about it at the time. Then we had call waiting. Remember call waiting? There was a little beep in the background. Maybe it's your generation isn't there, but basically we would be on a phone call, and then we would hear an incoming beep during when we were talking to somebody. That was call waiting. So you would push on the hang up button on the telephone, push it once, and then hopefully you would get the other call and say, hey, listen, who's this? So and so. Here, hold on a second. Let me get rid of this other call. Then you'd push the hang up button again, just once, and then you would get the other call. I can't tell you how many times we hung up on people. The point being is, when you have an advancement of technology, especially where we are today, there are no more missed calls. And the way the world's worked, we don't want to wait. So when somebody does call into your business, you really need to take care of them. And if you're out plumbing, or you're out contracting, you're out roofing, you're out swimming, you're out vacationing, you're out lending, or you're out realtoring, or whatever it may be, this is something you want to definitely consider. All right. If you haven't called the number yet, please call it. So it's not just what you do, it's how fast you do it. So I'm Connor with Honor. I've been a lot of things. I was LAPD for a long time, a realtor since 1998. LAPD was 90 to 2010 or so, 17 years regular, 3 years as a reserve. I grew up in a small town in New Mexico. My dad worked at White Sands Missile Range, so he was a mechanical electrical engineer, and he worked on the Pershing and Nike ICBM projects there at White Sands Missile Range. He was always bringing stuff home, technological stuff, fancy stuff. And for the back then, it was fancy. Now, if he was still alive, I'm sure he would be very impressed. But right now, I started with that technology back then, coding when I was a kid on a Sinclair, Timex Sinclair 99 computer. Very, very antiquated, went into the Commodore 64 mode, the Amiga 128. And then, of course, PCs came out with their 396 processor, 496, and Intel, and you kind of follow me through that. We had dial up, not when I was a kid, but back when I first started real estate. It was America Online. And if you remember those tones, if you were there, so I'm dating myself, but I've always kept up. I've always kept an eye on this. And when I first got into real estate in 1998, there's some overlap between cop and real estate agent. I made it a point to keep up with everything because in the real estate business, the World Wide Web, the internet was just becoming something pretty talked about. People didn't think it was going to take off, just like they didn't think from the radio transition to television it was going to be a thing. And then you go all the way back to horses to cars. They didn't think that was going to be a thing either. But you look at a couple different pictures of maybe 10, 15 years difference when it was all horses. Now it's all cars, no horses to be seen in those old photos. You can see how technology is moving. And this is your introduction into artificial intelligence assimilation into different various components of your business. Today, we're talking about hireaivoice.com. HIRE, AIvoice.com. But it's my system. The phone number at the bottom will give you access to this. So it's important to know the background of the individual, where their name is, who they are, and the kind of value they're going to be able to give you. So moving into today's agenda, AIify your business. I know it's clever. I hope you think it is. But there's certain things that can be done, AI phone receptionist. There's also an upgrade for the AI lead nurturing process. It's a whole stack. So basically somebody calls in and it triggers a workflow that I designed for your business custom. And then that workflow is going to equate to the system or artificial intelligence doing certain things. Going to send emails, SMS messages, these sorts of things, just to take care of the lead. Maybe they're not ready to buy today. Maybe they're not ready to hire your service today or get your product today. But you just don't want to throw them away because they made the effort to do something. And in this case, we're talking about AI voice. So they made the effort to make a phone call. That being the case, you want to take care of them. You just don't want to let them go. And you want to take them all the way from being somewhat interested to actually becoming your client for life and then telling everybody else about your business. That's the ultimate goal. And then, of course, the social media nurturing upgrade, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. That's an additional bolt-on system that I put together. I also have reputation management, which is something, it's not just about, and I'll just throw this out here real quick, it's not about going to all your past clients, as a lot of reputation managers do. They say, well, let's just send out these emails, send them links so they can go on there. You kind of want to know what they're going to say first. I mean, it's better to have a whole bunch of fives than even 1-4. 1-4 changes the whole dynamic depending on the reputations of the other businesses that are in your particular world, the other similar businesses. If everybody has 5-star ratings, you have a 4.5. That's a big difference if people are paying attention to the rating scale. Having said that, that's why it's kind of nice to know what's happening beforehand before they fill out a review on you. And there's ways to do that via a good reputation management, artificial intelligence inserted system or artificial intelligence engaged system. So that's something we'll talk about as well. But that's a different show, but we'll get a little bit into it later. All right. So the clarity you need for your business. And again, you might have the greatest services, best prices, but if you're not present for your customers, you're going to lose them. They're going to call somebody else. Definitely. It always happens. Now, I have a serious question. Is your business good at answering incoming phone calls? Do they answer phone calls all the time? Do you ever miss any? What if multiple people are calling at the same time? It happens. Is your system VoIP or Office or secretarial staff or agents or assistants or whatever? Are they able to capture all of those calls? If you have 10 coming in at the same time, is the system able to take care of all 10? Great question. This system does. Higher AI voice is able to take care of multiple calls at the same time, categorize them, extract all the information possible, and then put it into the system so you have access to it. And it also do a lot of other things, but that is super important. Now, also, if you have phone calls that come in after business hours, how are they taken care of? Is it just a mere message? Do you have everybody coming into your cell phone? And if that's the case, is it that your cell phone is a do not disturb so you don't get bothered at 1 or 2 in the morning unless it's family or somebody super important? Or is it just, open all the time and you maybe mute it or whatever it may be? If you have a business line, there should be something that you should be able to do with that business line. So if you have a regular office or you have everybody coming into your cell phone, I know a lot of contractors that we bring on, they have that. They're able to actually forward their cell phone number into this system for after hours attention for those people calling in. If you have a regular business and a VoIP or some kind of a phone number through any one of the big web providers, Spectrum and any of these others, they also have a way you can take your business line and forward it into the AI number that we get you. And by the way, just telling you about AI numbers, there's many different phone numbers we have access to. So you'll be able to choose your own. It'll be solely your phone number that you'll have the AI system operating within. That phone number is going to be selected by you. I also use artificial intelligence to help us select if we have 50 numbers to choose from. Usually, I'll also use artificial intelligence, trade secret, to develop and give us the top 3 choices of numbers and maybe even the top one and why. Why is this 219-7299 the best number for a certain thing? Again, perfect. I also have different numbers for my AI voice systems for my own business that I can do for you that spell things. 775 AI voice. Again, yes, that's Nevada, everything outside of Vegas, but it is something that I do for people's businesses, trying to get them more leads, more contacts, more people calling their number so the system can really take care and nurture them over time until this particular person becomes someone that wants to interact with that business and make some kind of a decision that the business will benefit from. And of course, the person calling, they're going to benefit from what they're actually asking the business to do for them as well. That's why, of course, they're calling. Now, there's just something that I definitely built in because I was sick of this as well. I get political calls, spam, telemarketer calls. I used to get them all the time. And they're difficult because these systems just constantly harass and berate, and you want nothing to do with it. It's very, very irritating. So the system that I have, the higheraivoice.com system, it does a great job at getting rid of those just because those systems aren't enabled or ready to deal with AI. And you won't get those problems or have all of those calls entered into the system. Now, what exactly happens? It really is like an answering service on steroids. A little joke there, present company excluded, but it does work every day of the year, every day of the week. It does work holidays, after hours, and it will work all the time if that's what you want it to do. If you have people at your office that can do other things, you can give them access. I can create accounts for those people so they're able to get into app.honorelevate.com, which is where you're inside, you're back into the system, where you're going to go in, you're going to be able to see your leads, you're going to see how much the system generated, you're going to be able to tweak and change things. If you want to change the calendar that we implement for you, you want to make it so you're going on vacation for 2 weeks, I can show you how to do that, but that's where you would access those types of things. Also, it's going to have your CRM, your client relationship management system, and that is going to take care of everybody. You can fill it full of all the people all of your contacts. If you have your own CRM, then this will take care of the phone end of it. And there are ways to connect this with other CRMs through Zapier. I do those sort of things as well. That's a case-by-case basis. We'll have to talk about it, but it does work fantastically. In addition, your employees, the people that work for you, they can be given access to the system as well. So that being said, they'll have an app on their phone. They'll be able to download it. They'll be able to put in their information, and they're under you. So you're the top tier of your business in app.honorelevate.com. And then they'll be underneath you, if that makes sense. And all this is explained. So if you're at the panic point now, because I'm just saying so much, don't worry. Every onboarding call, everything's explained very slowly until it's comprehended, understood. It's a whole new world. Artificial intelligence is changing a lot of things. It took me a long time to really get my mind wrapped around it so I could speak about it, talk about it, and offer it, plus building a system that I thought was safe and the best possible service for any client that would want to come to me to have AI integrated into their business. All right, so it does do the multiple calls simultaneously. It can forward calls or fall back as needed. It does filter out spam. It has the recap and transcription emails. You can send that to you. If you have a team, we'll send it to everybody. It does collect information. It'll add the contact to the CRM that we talked about, name, email, phone. And if there are other things that we want the system to ask them, maybe time frame in buying, time frame in selling. Maybe they're not, maybe asking them, when do they want their roof replaced? When were they thinking about having their kitchen remodeled if they're just kicking the tires? And this is a fraction of a human's cost. You imagine somebody working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, answering your phone with this kind of mission concept. I can't imagine. All right, round 2. Are you artificial intelligence savvy? This is something that is an additional upgrade to the system. As far as contact forms, do you have something like that on your website? Do you have a form where people go there and they fill out an interest list, or something that pops up that isn't just your regular garden variety, run-of-the-mill, crappy form that nobody's going to want to engage with, something maybe with an offering? Well, if you do, when a new lead fills out that form with one of the parts of the system I offer with AI integration, it does get into a conversational SMS or WhatsApp banter with the particular person that has called in or filled out that web form. So it will automatically send them what we've decided as an upgrade to the system, to their cell phone, their SMS message system, and it will talk with them. And then what'll happen is it will trigger a whole bunch of other things to try to first determine where they are in the sale purchasing cycle or service hiring cycle, and then it will nurture and take care of them with carefully scripted emails, SMS messages, and it will do this as long as we need it to be done, until they either say, listen, I'm not interested, or they say, listen, I'm ready. The system will then trigger another series of workflows to send you that information. So now you're poised and ready to contact them. You can review all the banter back and forth so you're not calling blind, and then you're able to follow up with them and do what you do best, as being the business owner or having one of the people you've hired to sell your product or service do what they do best. So it's just fantastic the way that it's put together. Here's another question. Another bolt-on service to this is going to be, do you have your business on social media? Not your own personal Facebook page. That's okay. Maybe you derive business from there, but a Google Places ad. Do you have that? Have you put your business there? Do you have your business on a Facebook business page? How about Instagram? Do you have your Instagram wrapped around your business, or TikTok, LinkedIn? How do you have you put that together? These AI systems that I put together, they will also take care of the DMs, these direct messages that are sent to your business on those systems. So if somebody has an opposite of normal people work schedule, I was a cop for a long time, so we had morning watch. Morning watch usually started around 10 o'clock in the evening, went to 7 or 8 in the morning when we were on eights. That's how that system worked. A lot of the cops that I used to serve in real estate back in the day, they had those hours. So sometimes I would be meeting with them at very odd times when they woke up in the afternoon, 7 or 8 at 9 at night, depending, having contracts signed at that time. People also are on their social media all the time. A lot of people sleep next to their phone. They'll pick it up when stuff goes on. And maybe at that time, when they wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, they had the dream to buy the house or to get their kitchen remodeled, have their roof replaced. Maybe they have a leak and they got to reach out personally immediately. That's where this comes in. They ask a question via your DMs on one of the social media networks, and the system, as an upgrade, will actually respond to them as if it's your AI assistant, and it will then go back and forth with them and do all the same things that the AI voice number does, securing their information, sending them what other information they want, booking an appointment, booking a callback, booking an in-person meeting, whatever it is that you want it designed to do, it will do. And then, of course, it does it with all very quick across all networks, all within 5 minutes. Unbelievable. Very fast. And the reason why that's important is because, just like social media, and I can't tell you before I got this system how many times I would go onto my social media, somebody asked a question. Somebody asked a question that was good for me, that was going to help build my business. And this is with regard to the real estate end of it. When I was in that, with all my time, and I would get there at 8 or 9 in the morning looking at it. And by the time I would respond, I'm sorry, I found somebody else already got my answer. I missed it. I missed an opportunity. I had to build something that took care of that. I had to build something that was available when I wasn't available. In this world of instant gratification, this is incredibly important. So anyway, it does handle, you see the shopping cart up here. It does handle all the Facebook and Instagram DMs, conversations. It does gather all the contact information. It plugs all that into your CRM as well. And then it takes care of them via email or SMS or WhatsApp, depending on what system. And WhatsApp, there's a lot of people that are really using that particular system. So if you have that and you operate your business through WhatsApp as well, it does take care of that. And of course, you get your direct calls to action DMs for more information. And then the comment keyword below, it also sends an automated outbound conversation and also gets more engagement. So we can actually dial this in to adhere to whatever kind of responses typically come in, or the responses we want to specially monitor, air quotes, about your business. So then the system will then generate what it needs to be the most interactive with this particular client that happens to have taken the time to respond to something that you put up. All right, voice receptionist, we talked about that. That is the main reason of this recording. The AI voice, all the things it does. We also talked a little bit about AI web lead nurturing, where basically you fill out a form online or have a bot put on your website. I design those, I prompt those for your business. I put the facts in, I put all the other information, I train that bot so it is able to get what we want when it's publicized on your existing website. If you don't have one, that's another thing that we could talk about, how to get that position, how to get something built, and we do that as well. And of course, the social DMs, getting responses to those very, very quickly, very important. And it will show that you are incredibly present in whatever areas you choose to be. Now, of course, being there, you're immediately engaging. People feel more comfortable. People don't want to wait. And this isn't some crappy, non-AI prompted voice system that you call from some of these massive subscribers out there, these big businesses that really just press one for this, press this. This isn't that. That was cool back then. Call this number, the 661-219-7299 number. Call it. See what you think. It's really, really awesome. Anyway, it's going to help people move forward with less pain. It's going to keep them more engaged in your ecosystem. And ultimately, more leads, higher quality leads are going to be the result. Now, as far as marketing benefits, you have all of these things in place. And I've always used to say, see, this is something coming in not on my AI voice number, but it's a scam phone call coming to my direct cell phone. If I wanted to avoid that, I would take my direct cell phone and forward it into my AI voice number, and then this would never happen. All right. So, have you ever talked about hiring somebody to do SEO or paid advertising, Google, Facebook, or Instagram? Facebook's great for that, by the way. We set that up as well. QR codes, flyers, reputation management services. That's something I'll talk about in a second. But for any business, getting all of this side, the AI voice, the AI integration set up, then you start paying for stuff. Then you can start paying for Facebook ads or YouTube advertising or whatever it may be, or Instagram. You can start paying for that, X advertising, all of these things. But if you don't have it all put together on this side, you're going to miss some stuff. And what is it? What does a click cost you? What does an ad cost you when somebody clicks? I can tell you for real estate agents and Facebook and Instagram, it's someone using meta services, it's somewhere in the neighborhood $7, $8, depending on your market. That's expensive. That's per lead. So when they click, they need to be going someplace. When they call, they need to be going someplace where it's going to be interactive so you don't miss it. Because if you miss it, you've just blown $8, $10, $12, $50. If you're in insurance, oh my gosh, you're going to be paying through the nose for advertising. That's why all of this has to be set up properly by an expert. And that's where the onboarding call comes in between you and me, or you, me, and your staff. We can pull up on Zoom. I can get 100 people on there. If that's the people you have, we can integrate everybody with a massive long-term installation of artificial intelligence. But we have to start at the beginning. We have to ask the simple questions. Where is your presence? What do you have turned on currently? What is your current model? And then we take it from there and find out, okay, this would really be good. You really don't need this yet. This particular system that I've been building, it's really not ready. But as soon as new technology comes out, I implement it immediately, as long as it's not BS and it will work. So I'm always constantly watching. There'll be 2 or 3 things I might add per week to the system to make it even better for my clients. And that's a benefit that gets spread to everybody that's in my system at honorelevate.com, working with me in that process. So this is Hire, HIRE, AIvoice.com. Call the number. It'll be easy. You can check that out. I promised I was going to talk about reputation management services. I talked a little bit about it before. It's something else. It's another cart feature where we add another bolt-on system, part of our stack. And with reputation management, it basically sends out to people what would they prospectively rate your business. What would they say? Would they say 5? Would they say 4? Would they say 3? And then we have a strategy. Maybe the 3s, the 2s, and the 1s, there's just nothing we can do in that realm. And when you reach out, usually it's more of a pain. But bringing somebody from a 4 to a 5, or a 4.5 to a 5, if there is even a half rating. But a 4 to a 5, not too hard. And maybe it just takes a phone call. Maybe it takes a text message. Maybe it takes an email. Maybe it takes something else. But then when you secure it, or if you have 4 ratings as it is, or even less, maybe I do know there's a way to go through and try to take care of those people, try to hit them up and find out more information and see if there's some way you can bring that particular score higher for you, up to a 5. So that's where the reputation management comes in. A lot of people aren't even asking people for reviews, but it's not just in the asking, because that could be dangerous. There could be one of your staff or something that you did that kind of rubs somebody the wrong way. So instead of a 5, they're going to give you a 4. Or maybe they're those people that don't believe anybody deserves a 5 except for the most perfect person that ever walked the face of the earth, and you're not it. So finding that out before we ask for the review is important, but that's part of that reputation management service with artificial intelligence. Now, all marketing benefits from this. These are often called top of funnel. So you're getting more people looking at your business because now you're taking care of people, you're responding quickly, and your AI conversation systems, you get those dialed in, you'll see 2 to 10% more effectiveness for now and any future marketing and ideas in the future, because you already have it built. You already have everything you need in the AI infrastructure put together for your business. So whenever you start talking to people about it, I mean, it's seamless. Does that make sense? You've built the factory. You have everything in there you need to expand, be expandable for your business. If you want to bring on a staff at some point, maybe it's just you yourself, but you become so busy because you're able to take care of leads in such a way. Anybody that enters their information, you take care of them, you nurture them, and finally your business starts to grow. Maybe you need a real human being at some point to bring into your office, which you haven't had. Then you bring them into the system. Then you have me or you yourself teach them about how to interact with it, and then they grow too. And then all of a sudden you have something that has gone way beyond what you've expected. Anyway, check it out. You will be surprised. You can implement artificial intelligence. I can do it for you in a lot of different venues in your business, places you might not expect. So reach out to me. I would love to help. And of course, thank you for always. I'm Connor with Honor. Hire, Hire, hireaivoice.com. Call the number, check out the demo, see what you think, let me know, and be in touch. Talk to you soon and be well.